students. Today in this module, we will be discussing the part 2 of achievement motivation. So, today in this module, we will be discussing about self-efficacy, goal setting, planning and monitoring expectations. Now, let us come to the first concept, self-efficacy. As student, how many of you feel that you have high self-efficacy? Definitely, most of you may feel that you have at least an average self-efficacy or probably a higher than the average of self-efficacy. Now, when it comes to self-efficacy, some of you might wonder what it is. If you remember in the personality theories where Bandura has mentioned the concept of self-efficacy, it refers to the belief as to how we can master a situation and produce positive outcomes. Bandura emphasizes that self-efficacy is a critical factor whether the students are achieving or not achieving. Self-efficacy has much in common with mastery motivation and intrinsic motivation. If we have to understand self-efficacy, it is the belief that I can do it, and helplessness, the opposite of mastery, is the belief that I cannot do it. Students with high self-efficacy agree with statements like, I know that I will be able to learn this material in this class, and I expect to be able to do well at this activity. How many of you feel this kind of a feeling of self-efficacy when a task is given to you? Dale Skunk has applied the concept of self-efficacy to many aspects of students' achievement. According to him, self-efficacy influences a student's choice of activities. Students with low self-efficacy for learning might avoid many learning tasks, especially those that are challenging. Whereas, students with high self-efficacy eagerly approach these learning tasks. Students with high self-efficacy are more likely to persist with effort at learning a task than the students with low self-efficacy. There are many studies conducted on the self-efficacy, and one such study revealed that high self-efficacy adolescents had higher academic aspirations, they spent more time doing the homework and were more likely to associate with the task that is given and the learning activities which are giving the optimal experience than their low self-efficacy counterparts. Another recent study also found that students with high self-efficacy for reading and writing were more likely to adopt a deep strategy-oriented approach to studying, while their low self-efficacy counterparts were more likely to take a surface approach. Many studies have indicated not only the students' efficacy, teachers' self-efficacy will also have a major impact on the quality of learning that students experience. Students learn much more from teachers with a sense of high self-efficacy than from those teachers who have self-doubts. So, teachers with low self-efficacy often become mired in the classroom that has the problems and are inclined to say that low student ability is the reason that their students are not learning. So, they generally attribute the students' low performance to their self-doubts rather than accepting that teachers' self-efficacy is low and that is affecting the students' performance. Low self-efficacy teachers do not have confidence in their ability to manage their classrooms, and they become stressed and show the anger at students' misbehavior, and they are also pessimistic about students' ability to improve and take a custodial view of their job, often resort to restrictive and punitive modes of discipline and say that if they had it to do all again, they would not choose the teaching as a profession. Efficacious schools are pervaded by high expectations and standards for the achievement. Teachers regard their students as capable of high academic achievement. They set challenging goals, that is for the academic performance for the students, and provide support to help them reach these high standards. And now, in contrast to those schools, the low achieving schools, not much is expected from the students, whether it is academically or whether it is the socio-cultural aspects, the extracurricular aspects. So, in these schools, teachers spend less time actively teaching and monitoring students' academic progress, and they tend to write off a high percentage of students as unteachable. They just give up. It is difficult to teach to these students. Students in such schools have very low self-efficacy and a sense of academic futility. So, let us focus on certain strategies to improve the students' efficacy. The first strategy is teach specific strategies. So, these strategies can be used for the teacher and also for the parents. Now, in this particular strategy, the students will be taught specific strategies like outlining and summarizing, which can improve their ability to focus on their tasks. Then the second important thing is guide the students in setting goals. When there is a goal, whether it is a short term or whether it is a long term, that will make them focus on achieving a particular goal. Especially short term goals help the students to judge their progress. Third one, consider the mastery. Give students performance contingent rewards, which are more likely to signal mastery rather than rewards for merely engaging in a task. The fourth strategy is combine the strategy training with goals. So, the researcher Skunk and his colleagues have found that a combination of strategy training and goal setting can enhance students' self-efficacy and its skill development will take place. Not only that, giving feedback to students on how their learning strategies are related to their performance. The next strategy is provide the students with support. Definitely, the students require the positive support, which can be from the teachers, from the parents, and sometimes even from the peers. Sometimes a teacher just needs to tell a student, you can do this. The sixth strategy is help students believe in their cognitive abilities. All the students will have some kind of an ability. We have to identify that and then try to motivate them to use that ability. For example, there are situations wherein the students may be unsuccessful in academic settings, but talking to these students about the teacher's confidence in the abilities of the students can definitely improve the students' self-efficacy, and definitely they will become more motivated after listening to the teacher. Now, we have discussed about self-efficacy. The next important concept which is related to the motivation is goal setting. Then what is a goal? It is an outcome or attainment an individual is striving to accomplish a particular task. For example, students strive to read a chapter or make a goal like to achieve 4.0 GPA. That means they are involved in goal directed behavior. Then in pursuing the goals, students are generally aware of the current condition. That is, did I open my book today or I did not open the book at all this week? Sometimes the ideal condition, I have understood every page of my book. This is not possible, right? And the discrepancy between the two will create whether they are able to achieve the goal or whether they are not able to reach the goal. So, if we set a goal, these goals motivate the people to act in order to reduce the discrepancy between where they are and where they want to be. According to Locke and Latham, there are 4 reasons why goal setting improves performance. The first one is goals will give us the attention to the task at hand and away from other distractions. All of you might have experienced this. If you have something in your mind, you will be trying to overcome all the other distractions, whether it is watching TV, going for a party, and then you will try to focus on the task that is at your hand. So, it could be completion of the chapter, it could be completing a record or anything else. So, the goal of finishing a particular chapter or a section will help focus your attention back to the reading and writing. The second reason why we have to set the goals is that will energize your effort. The more challenging the goal to a point, the greater the effort. The third reason is goals will help us to increase our persistent behavior. When we have a clear goal, we are less likely to give up until we reach the goal. Hard goals, which are very difficult, they demand more effort from us, and tight deadlines will lead to the faster work. Then another reason is goal setting will promote the development of new knowledge and strategies when old strategies fall short. Sometimes like we need to update ourselves. Whatever strategies we are using, if it is not helping us to perform well, definitely we have to acquire the new skills, the new knowledge. For example, if your goal is making a particular target reachable, it could be like completion of the chapter or it could be completing a record work. Now let us see what are the different types of goals. So goals can be specific, elaborated, moderately difficult and proximal, likely to be reached in the near future. All these goals tend to enhance motivation of the students and persistence levels. If we have to understand specific elaborated goals, they provide us clear standards for judging our performance. If performance is falling behind, then we keep going. Then moderate difficulty goals provide us a challenge but not an unreasonable one. Similarly, goals that can be reached fairly soon are not likely to be pushed aside by more immediate concerns. Mastery goals and performance goals are another category. Mastery goals are related to task goals and learning goals, and performance goals are related to ability goals. The point of a mastery goal is to improve, to learn, no matter how the task would appear very difficult. When students set mastery goals, the quality of their engagement in the task would be very higher. They are more investing their time, they are more investing their interest, especially if they feel that they have a choice and a sense of autonomy. Students with mastery goals also are ready to seek the challenges, and they continuously persist even if they face the obstacles or the difficulties, and they feel very much better about their work, about their performance and how they are going about the whole task. They also focus on the task at hand and are not worried about how their performance measures up in comparison to others in the class. We often say that these people get lost in their work, that is, they are completely engaged in their work. In addition to this, these students are more likely to seek appropriate help, use much of the cognitive processing strategies, and they apply better study strategies, and they generally approach academic tasks with more of the confidence. So, students with mastery goals behave in this way. Then what about the students who give more importance to the performance goal? Students with performance goals care about demonstrating their ability to others. They may be focused on getting a good test scores and grades, or they may be more concerned with winning and beating other students. Students whose goal is outperforming others may do things to look smart, such as reading easy books in order to read the most books. The evaluation of their performance by others, not what they learn, is what matters. Students with performance goals also act in ways that interfere with learning. Goal setting is recognized as an important key aspect of achievement. Many studies have been conducted on how goal setting influences performance. Researchers have found that self-efficacy and achievement will definitely improve when students set goals that are specific, proximal and challenging. A very non-specific goal, a fuzzy goal, that is, for example, I want to be successful. Then what about long-term and short-term goals? Students can set both long-term, that is very distal, very far off, and also short-term, that is proximal, very near future goals. It is okay to let the students set some long-term goals like I want to graduate from high school, or I want to go to a so and so college, but make sure that they also create short term goals as steps along the way. Attention should focus mainly on short term goals, which will enable the students judge their progress better than the long term goals. David McNally, he has authored a very good book on even eagles need a push. So, he advised in this book that when students set goals and also plan, they should be reminded to live their lives one day at a time, have them make their commitments in a bite-sized chunks. And he says, a house is built one brick at a time, a cathedral one stone at a time. The artist paints one stroke at a time. So, the students should also work in small increments. Then another important concept related to the goals is challenging goals. One good strategy to encourage the students to set challenging goals. A challenging goal is a commitment to self-improvement. Strong interest and involvement in activities is sparked by challenges. Goals which are very easy to reach will generate very little interest or effort. They will become very monotonous tasks. But goals should be optimally matched to the student's skill level. If goals are unrealistically high, again the result will be repeated failures from the student side, and that will hamper the student's self-efficacy. Apart from the academic goals, personal goals are also to be encouraged to be set by the students. So, these personal goals can be like what should be the future, what is expected from the near future, how they are trying to see themselves in the near future. Accordingly, they can be asked to set the personal goals related to their health, related to their social activities, or related to their personal development. Many times, teachers are not aware of the students' personal goals and they do not know what to expect from the students to achieve from their personal front. So, even sometimes the teacher should be aware what are the personal goals set by the students. So, this is one way to enhance the motivation level. Once they are able to improve at the personal front, the same kind of a motivation can be used to cope and deal with the life's challenges and opportunities. Now, let us see how the developmental changes will influence the goal setting. Many of the changes involved in the transition to middle school are likely to increase students' motivation to achieve performance goals rather than mastery goals. So, they are directed more towards performance goals rather than mastering a particular task. And this is happening because of the lack of autonomy as they are growing up into the others' classes. So, the whole class task organization and between class ability groupings and social comparisons, concerns about evaluation, competitiveness, all these things will hamper the mastery of the particular task. In one research study, both teachers and students reported that performance focused goals were more common and task focused goals were less common in middle school than in elementary school classrooms. Apart from this, the elementary school teachers also reported using task focused goals more than middle school teachers did. So, at both the grades, the extent to which the teachers were task focused was linked with the students and the teachers' sense of personal efficacy. Middle school teachers especially need to include task focused goals in their instruction in order to improve the self-efficacy of the students. A recent Japanese study also revealed that in junior high and high school classrooms in which teachers created a mastery goal structure for their classroom, students were intrinsically motivated and had a higher academic self-concept compared to performance oriented goal structure where the classroom students were less intrinsically motivated and they had a lower academic self-concept. Then, let us understand the target model in order to enhance the motivation levels of the student. There are 6 areas where teachers can make decisions that can influence the student's motivation to learn. When we say target, each letter stands for a particular strategy. So, T in the target stands for task that students are asked to do. Then A stands for autonomy or authority the students are allowed in working. R stands for recognition for accomplishments of the students' performance. G stands for grouping of the practices. E stands for evaluation procedures, and T stands for time in the classroom. Now, the next important concept is planning and self-monitoring. Planning is an important task for everyone and especially for the students. It is not enough just to get the students to set the goals. It is also important to encourage them to plan how they will reach their goals. So, every student should be a good planner. That means how they have to manage the time effectively, how they can set the priorities, and how organized they are in reaching the goals. So, give the students, especially those at the middle school and at high school levels, practice at managing their time. So, teach them certain exercises, make them practice as to how they can manage their time, how they can set the priorities, and how effectively they can organize. Based upon their performance, we can give them the feedback. Then the last concept is expectations. Expectations exert a powerful influence on students' motivation. Now, coming to the students' expectations, how hard work the students can do, that depends upon how much they are expecting to accomplish. If they expect to succeed, they are more likely to work hard to reach a goal than if they expect to fail. So, when we say expectations, what exactly the expectations mean? Jacqueline Eccles defined expectations for students' success as beliefs about how well they will do on upcoming tasks, either in the immediate or in the long-term future. The three aspects of students' ability beliefs according to Eccles are how good they are at a particular activity, that influences the expectation, how good they are in comparison to other individuals, and how good they are in relation to their performance in other activities. These three factors will influence the expectations about the students' performance. And how hard students work also depends on the value they place on the goal. The combination of expectancy and value has been the focus of a number of efforts to better understand students' achievement motivation for many decades. In Jacqueline Eccles' model, expectancies and values are assumed to directly influence the students' performance, the persistence and the task choice. The expectancies and the values are definitely influenced by the student's ability and also by the perception of competence, and sometimes the perceptions of the difficulty level of the different tasks and individuals' goals will be influencing the overall picture of the performance of the students. In Eccles' view, the culture's achievement orientation also plays a role in influencing students' expectations. Now, teachers' expectations. So, teachers' expectations will influence students' motivation and also performance. When teachers hold high generalized expectations for student achievement and students perceive these expectations, students achieve more and they experience a greater sense of self-esteem and competence as learners, and they resist involvement in problem behaviors both during childhood and also in adolescence. Teachers often have more positive expectations for high ability than for low ability students, and these expectations are likely to influence their behavior toward them. For example, teachers require high ability students to work harder than low ability students, wait longer for them to respond to questions, respond to them with more information in an elaborative way, criticize them less often, praise them more often and more friendly to them, call on them more often, seat them closer to the teachers' desks, and are more likely to give them the benefit of the doubt on close calls in grading. And another important strategy to monitor the expectations and sure to have the positive expectations for students with low abilities. Researchers also found that support the teachers can adapt and raise their expectations for students with low abilities will also encourage these students to perform better by enhancing their motivation levels. The last important concept is values and purpose. How hard students work is influenced by the value they place on the goal they have set. Similarly, the culture's achievement orientation influences students' values. So, what are the values? They are beliefs and attitudes about the way we think the thing should be. They involve what is important to individuals. So, values can be attached to all sorts of things, like it could be what is your value towards the religion, money, helping others, family, self-discipline, cheating, career, all these aspects. So, people differ on their value system. So, two moral education approaches emphasize the importance of values in the student's development: character education and value clarification. It is very important to integrate the kind of the role the purpose plays in shaping students' values. William Damon defines purpose as an intention to accomplish something meaningful to oneself and contribute something to the world beyond the self. Finding purpose involves making the students answer questions like, why am I doing this? Why does it matter? Why is it important for me and the world beyond me? Why do I strive to accomplish this end? So, this kind of a questioning has to be encouraged among the students. In an interview with 12 to 20-year-olds, Damon found that only 20% of these participants had a clear vision of where they want to go in life, what they want to achieve, and why. The largest percentage, that is about 60%, had engaged in some potentially purposeful and meaningful tasks or activities like service learning or fruitful discussions with a career counselor, but still did not have a real commitment or any reasonable plans for reaching their goals. And slightly more than 20% expressed no aspirations at all, and in some cases they said they did not have any reason to have the aspiration. So, you can understand that without aspirations, how people will become very vague in their goal setting or in accomplishing. Damon concludes that most teachers and parents communicate the importance of such goals as studying hard and getting good grades, but they rarely discuss the goals that lead to what the purpose is for studying hard and why we should get good grades. He also emphasized that too often students will focus only on short-term goals, but they don't explore big long-term picture of what they want to do with their life. Summary of the module. So, students, in this module we have dealt with self-efficacy, goal setting, planning and monitoring expectations.